Happy Tuesday, folks. Welcome back to Sportsology. I am your host, as always, Ryan Kostrowski. Hope everybody enjoyed MLB opening day yesterday. Lots of good baseball going on. I'm very happy to have baseball back. If you happen to catch the NCAA championship game last night, I didn't watch the majority of the game. I'm not a big college basketball guy, but wow, what an ending to a game. If you are a sports fan, that is the absolute kind of ending you just dream of watching. Feel bad for the North Carolina kids. That was a heck of a comeback, only to have it spoiled on the very, buzzer-beating shot that happened. But that was a wonderful game, and that's what we really, really love about sports is it can take your mind off of all the everyday struggles that we all get and give you something exciting just to kind of tune into like that, because that was just a great, great ending. So, if you're new to the show, what Sportsology is I got two areas of expertise. During the day, I talk business technology. I'm a technology solution specialist for a company called Enterprise Systems Group out of Little Chute. Then at night, I turn into a full-time fantasy sports expert, mostly focusing on the daily games with my specialties being baseball, basketball, and football. So anybody who might be new to this channel, if you're watching this, if you could do me a big favor, if you could press subscribe, that'll help me kind of circulate around the YouTube and around the social media and help me create more followers. It's also the easiest way to get notifications for when I put out new videos. Whether you're here for fantasy sports or you're here for technology, I do appreciate you tuning in, but that will be something I would sincerely appreciate if you could help me out with. Now, we're going to start with fantasy sports today, and since the MLB season has started, we will just talk baseball full time now, and we will move basketball. Wait for next year for that one. If you happen to be playing in the midday games, I believe there are 3 games set up for this afternoon, you're going to want to get Dallas Keuchel in your lineup. Now, if you're maybe a little bit new to baseball, this might not be something you knew, but Keuchel won the American League Cy Young last year. He's got some serious game. The guy can pitch. But more than anything, he absolutely dominated the Yankees last year. They couldn't touch him. They weren't even close. I mean, these were epic beatdowns. Like if I were to play Michael Jordan one-on-one in basketball, it was that one-sided. So you're going to want to get him in your lineups. Even if he tanks today, that's still a good bet. I just think that's a good place to put your money. Okay. Moving along to the nighttime games, as that's what a lot of you'll be playing. Check out David Peralta of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's currently priced out at only 3,700. You may not know a lot about this guy, but he was really solid last year. Young player, talented. He doesn't have a ton of experience going up against today's starter for Colorado, but he is 4 or 5 of them off of his career. Not a huge sample size, but at least it's not somebody he's been dominated by in the past. All right, we are going to talk Brewers for 1 second here, and specifically Jimmy Nelson, today's starting pitcher. Nelson looked pretty good this spring. He's talented. He's got really good stuff. He's still very, very young. He has a tendency to get wild from time to time, so I wouldn't set a whole bunch of lineups around him. But if you're looking for a pitcher with high upside, a lower cost, and an opportunity to not have very high ownership to set you apart from the crowd, this may be somebody that's worth taking a look at. You can expect his ownership to be under 5%. Not a lot of people will buy him, but he does have the ability to give you, say, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 9 Ks. That's a possibility. So maybe take a flyer on him. Don't set your lineups all around him if you do a multi-tournament setting like I do, but he's somebody worth taking a flyer on for maybe a lineup. Randall Grichuk of the St. Louis Cardinals, 3,300. That's a very good price for him. That's good value right there. He's not going up against one of the elite pitchers today. Jonathan Neese isn't a bad pitcher, but he's not going up against Tanaka or anybody like that. So I think that's somebody you can take a look at. And then give a shout out to the kid, Trevor Story of the Colorado Rockies. Homered twice yesterday. Still very cheap. Give it a look-see. You're going to be looking to save some money today to spend up on pitchers because that's what you have to do when you're on the front end of the rotation. For a lot of these teams. So that might be somebody worth taking a look at. I don't know how his ownership will be. It's hard to say how in tune everybody is with the MLB season already. Are people going to be on top of things enough to know he homered twice yesterday and be all over him? Maybe. Is he still going to be a relatively unknown? Maybe. I don't know for sure, being the second or third day of the MLB DFS season, but definitely worth taking a look at. So let's pivot over to technology and let's talk today's technology. I want to briefly discuss Mitel's MiCollab client. That's something that we deploy for most large phone system upgrades. If you don't know Mitel is the same voice company that Enterprise Systems Group's been working with for a long time. They've been our flagship product, very, very quality product, one of the big boys when it comes to phone systems throughout not just the US, but the world. And their MiCollab client, if you know what Microsoft Link is, it's going to be somewhat similar to that as far as functionality and what you're going to get out of it. The things that, just a real brief breakdown of what you get out of it. First off, you're going to get chat. I use chat constantly. And where I use chat is where I don't want to wait for an email to get returned because chats get responded to quicker. Where I know the other person might be on the phone or busy, and maybe it's just a one question. I'll send over to the director of operations who's preparing a quote for me, and just one question while I know he's on the phone. Get a response right away. You're not waiting for email. When I first started working here, I didn't know a lot about technology. So when I was doing cold calls, I would chat my boss, meanwhile, on the other side, say, hey, he's bringing up this. What does this mean? And one time somebody was talking about MPLS. Now, I lived in Minneapolis for 10 years, so MPLS to me was the abbreviation for Minneapolis. Turns out in the technology world, not the same thing, totally different. So being able to chat back and forth was a huge help. Click to dial. I love click to dial. I know like 4 people's numbers around here now. I just click on it. It's so much simpler than having to remember extensions or turning over here, looking at my phone list, trying to figure out who I'm talking to, and just going down and just clicking to dial. Very simple. Status. Know where people are at all times if they want to share their status. They can update it themselves or they can have it integrated to their calendar. People are going to use it differently. It's up to the individual. Icons for knowing are people open to chat. You'll see a message box if you can chat them, a video picture if you can do a video call. You'll show whether or not they're on or off the phone. And actually the feature I like is the actual keyboard will go to a yellow color if they haven't touched their keyboard in 10 minutes, which knows that they're probably actually not at their desk. That saves time. I won't walk downstairs then and talk to my AV engineer if I know that he hasn't touched his keyboard in 10 minutes. He's probably not in his office. You can import context for click to dial. You get a lot of feature functionality with it. I know a couple times when I've been working with people on their evaluation, they've expressed concerns about chat, thinking people were going to talk too much in the office. Look, everybody's got Snapchat, Twitter, all those things these days. People don't seem to abuse chat anymore. That may have been a thing 10 years ago, but I wouldn't address that as a concern anymore. Now, if you happen to be catching this video and you're the business owner or the IT person, and you haven't moved to a new phone system yet, it's going to improve communication throughout the office with your customers. It's hard to measure soft costs, but it's a money maker, not a money coster. And if you don't have the money for a capital expense right now, I get that. That's just something businesses go through all the time. If you don't have money to make a large capital purchase, that's fine. Lease it, run it as an operating expense, and take the tax advantage. But it will improve communication with your internal employees and your customers, creating a better customer experience. So that's what I got today, guys. Good luck today on all the MLB stuff, and I will talk to you soon.